All right, it's server update week 3, and I'm also going to talk about kind of the future plans I have for the server. I am kind of sick right now, so I'll be drinking tea throughout. I think it was just because I was making out with too many people, but I'm only human. So there's a lot to go over, like a lot happened. It's getting to a point where it's like almost too much to even cover in one video, and I'll have to find a different way to kind of deliver information and communicate with people, but I guess that's just yet another item on the to-do list. You'll see there's a lot to do. So we got a new server structure that's like tiered, and I was much more deliberate in the choice of the leadership this time instead of just picking random people who impressed me with what they said. It's definitely a blind spot I have, which I'm working to correct for sure. But and we have a secret weapon, which is this duo, No and his partner Annabelle, who No is like a behavior prodigy and Annabelle's like a psychology prodigy. I don't know if prodigy is the right word, but they're just fucking cracked at both of those things. We're doing a book club on behavior, and No has got like just an insane backstory. He's like a partnered server member, so is Annabelle. They run the Tarantulas Discord server, which is huge, and have a ton of experience doing this, and also a ton of experience with behavior and behavioral modification and keeping things in line server wise. So now we have basically like an HR team that is way more capable than I am at managing like the vibe of the server. So we're definitely shifting away from 6-7 like black pills personality spamming and really trying to curate the internal atmosphere of the server. Also, like a quick shout out to Project Alk. He helped me a lot with Trig this week, building deep intuition for one of the identities, and he's also been really active and also really promoting the type of attitude we want to see. Very mature for sure. So yeah, that's basically the essence there. And the new staff tier ladder we'll have will also all kind of be trained by Annabelle and No eventually. Through just like little mini lectures and through book clubs. I already mentioned the book club we have on behavior, to be able to curate the vibe in here very well and actually run very smoothly. And then so the entrance process is something that's like really currently it's basically we have an inner server and an outer server, and the outer server is managed by like a European teenager named iRogue, which is awesome. He's doing all that work, but eventually we're going to have like too many internal services probably to want to duplicate them, and it'll just be like a lot of extra work to really maintain the quality in both servers, so we'll probably just merge them. In the past, we had a system like you would send me an email, or you would kind of not send your resume, but kind of try to sell yourself. And as No pointed out, that's very problematic. It's a lot like LinkedIn, which I just hate deeply. It's like the corniest, fakest, like just poser social media that's like, I know this and this and this and this. I'm technically competent, I swear. And what really counts isn't what you say, it's what you do. It's the actions you take. So I think the server eventually will be completely open. It'll just be like, it'll have kind of roles of exposure to more resources. Because we also have to think about like, what are we actually trying to achieve here? There's a lot of like mentors, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of really cool projects to work on. But we don't want like 14-year-olds treating people like they're just a GPT, and we don't want people like emotionally just dumping their trauma or like being kind of childish. And wasting everyone's time and bringing the vibe down. So there's definitely a lot to consider with that. We're not fully going to open the server yet, but we're going to consider how to let people in, probably through some kind of like open source contribution model, which is weird because this server is not exclusively for technical people. It's also for people that are like good at psychology or good at philosophy or something like that. So we'll have some other means of like participating contribution to join, and yeah, we'll make that pretty robust before it's fully rolled out, but that's something to look out for. Also, like smaller servers not necessarily better, which I thought at the beginning, but I think more participation is better. And then general server news. So I got the Proton suite set up this week so we can have org emails. I'll talk about why that's important later. We have like Proton Drive, Proton Pass for sharing around credentials to the different things. getting the OVH cluster set up this week, and we have a couple other clusters, actually like a good handful of them from other people that can be used to host internal stuff. We just are setting up like Authentic for org auth because some of the tools we're releasing are like not going to be publicly accessible from the internet for various reasons. And then also like with having like cluster expenses and having a Proton Business Suite, we have a budgeting guy. He did like a 5-hour seminar or something with this other guy Zarth on stage the other day, which is really cool. So stay tuned for an open source budgeting video, both for you and if you run like a small thing like this. And then there are so many projects happening now, it's like really hard to keep up with and to point people in the right directions. We're going to need a better system for this, but Tom, the computational pursuing pathologist, released this program called Yove, which I'm pretty sure is just because it's easy to type, which is like a WSI viewer. Currently not compiling for me. You should fix that, Tom. But he's finishing medical school, or I don't know what his plans are for the summer, but he's got a lot of incredibly cool medical related projects. Also, like Troy is coming up with a new project in ML and AI. Carlos just got back from Japan, and he has a couple of Golang projects that are pretty involved. And then okay, I don't want to go into too much detail on each of these because the video will drag out forever. But then this guy Jack as well, who's also pretty experienced, had this idea for like a radio station that would like stream music from, we have a music recommendation thread, which is technically illegal. That's why we need it behind auth. But that's a project to look out for, especially this weekend is going to be thrown together. It's on the simpler end, but it'll be a good proof of concept for working as a larger group. Troy's AI ML lecture also is eventually going to be accompanied by a larger project so that you have like uses for reinforcement learning. Also a great person to learn from. A video from Tuna Chip I made a couple days ago will be coming out. He's working on this like, I mean, it's very cool. I won't talk about it because the video goes all into it, but that's another project to look out for. And Eric's database visualizer, and then a bunch of others I'm probably forgetting. Oh, there's a Quiqui's Analytics project, and a lot of these projects, they have like different levels of kind of community involvement that these people are looking for. Like I know a thing that's very helpful for both Tuna Chip and Tom is going to be like cross-platform testing, because they're both Linux guys, and like if you've got a Mac or Windows computer and you're capable of helping them test different locations of software deployment, that's very helpful. But there's also just like a lot of blooming projects with mentors that are looking for like just help fleshing out a lot of features. And then other things like Eric's project is pretty solo, but eventually we're going to get to a point where we're going to need like distribution and marketing skill, which is something like I have a small amount of connections in. I'm working to improve that side of things, but for someone like Eric, who's a really good programmer, but doesn't necessarily have a bunch of like connection to the vendors he's trying to sell his product to, it'll be very helpful to be able to kind of offload that to other people in the community. So like some kind of marketing and sales division is in the works eventually for projects once they get mature enough to be distributed. And let's see. So that also brings me to, well, let me go over this idea first. So there are I don't know, like a handful, I would say like 7 or 8 like very experienced people in here who like are great mentors, but there's probably a majority like younger, very enthusiastic developers. And as Alex pointed out, it would be good to have more mentorship in here, and a way I plan on doing that is reaching out to a lot of like people on YouTube. There are a lot of like older programmers on YouTube that only have a few thousand subscribers, and kind of bringing them in to see if they're interested in having mentees or having help on their projects or more exposure to their channels. Because also I plan to start releasing more content on the Vestibule channel with other people. You'll see more collaborations incoming, and I think that'll be a great angle, reaching out to those people. And there's a little bit more branding I want to do. I want to release a few more videos and gain a few more followers before that. And oh man, there's like 10 things in my head I want to say right now. Um, but then also, yeah, improved product management is going to be very big eventually, because the product manager skill set is not something I really have. And it's also like, I've talked to a few of the more experienced people in here. They're mostly developers, less than product managers. I think some of them kind of know how to do it, but it's definitely a skill set. Like, especially with like less experienced developers, how do you maximize the effectiveness of having a lot of people that are enthusiastic but want to work, but maybe aren't the most experienced in the world? um, and a lot of it comes down to like one-on-one or one-on-two mentoring, or I'm not exactly sure on that. It's something to figure out for sure, to get someone in here who can talk about product management and what it means, like, and how to do it in a way that's not cringe, because yeah, we don't want Jira up in here, anything like that. But certainly, it's not the easiest thing in the world to get people to work together. So that's something I'm looking into. There's definitely like there's a lot to learn for me, in terms of product management, in terms of behavior. So that book club is going to be very helpful, in terms of persuasion, all that stuff. But also, one thing I wanted to say is like, I see some people in here that are very, very excited for what's happening, and that is good. I like enthusiasm, but also like, it's important to not like get carried away in excitement and get carried away in the potentials and ideas, and just like think about this as like a longer term thing. Like, a lot of the people in here are just in college right now, and they have a lot on their plate class wise. And I would not like go and drop everything you're currently doing to invest in this server at all. It's like a long-term thing, and long-term relationships will come out of it. Some people have already been hired from being in here, but it's like, not, don't be too enthusiastic. You can sink a ship with too many ideas for sure. And I guess that's another thing, is like mistakes in this process. Like, from the beginning of when I started my channel to where I am now, like, I made so many mistakes. I'm currently like in violation of YouTube's terms of service, and what I'm doing right now is band circumvention. So like, this is a mistake technically. I've like said the wrong thing to so many people. I've talked to the wrong person so many times. I've made countless mistakes in doing what I'm doing, and it'll be like no different in managing this server, and I'm sure we'll run into all kinds of trouble. But I also like have kind of a team surrounding me now that's very competent and capable, and like, even if I lose motivation or I make a mistake temporarily, this team can prop up the project, which is really exciting. It's building kind of robustness, reliability, and yeah. So that's somewhat the vision. And then in terms of short-term funding, like, I'm planning on, just instead of working at an internship this summer, just going really hard on a personal technical project, once one like really materializes that I have confidence in, and also spending a lot of time working on the server in general, because there's a lot to do with it. Lots of internal projects, and yeah. So in terms of short-term funding, I'm gonna release some like cool merch at some point, which does not have a lot of profit overhead at all, but just to like keep my cluster costs down and pay my rent for the summer, essentially, is the idea. But hopefully I can grow the Vestibule channel over the next few months, in anticipation of, well, actually, I can't say this. There's an event that's going to happen, but I don't want it to be leaked, really. Yeah, there's just a lot to do. And there's also, I guess I should go into specifics on more projects in the future. I'll be doing that as like to communicate what projects for younger people would be great to work on for mentorship and for improving their technical abilities. Definitely the Vestibule radio is one to look out for. Oh man, yeah, I'm getting quite sick, unfortunately. Bad timing, but we have like 3 weeks until school is over, which my math major is taking up a lot of my time. I try to spend as much time as I possibly can, like looking out for the trajectory of this server. Now that it's being taken more seriously, that was passive voice, that was weird. Yeah, things are really shaping up well. And I suspect, like, as we can get more mentorship, more experience in here, it'll be even better. And the projects that come out of it will be nothing short of remarkable. That's the thing. Like, there will be mistakes that are made for sure. Again, passive voice, what the fuck? And there will be just inevitably, like, having open access to a Discord server, you're gonna run into some internet weirdos. Like, that is a problem with the internet. There are some people that are seriously, like, kind of energy draining and like, I don't know, have a lot of weird opinions because they were raised by the internet. But so it'll be a constant struggle to stand up against the random problems we run into. But I just don't really give up. I can't give up or else I get really depressed. So yeah, I'm very excited for the future of this. Anything else I wanted to say? I mean, there's just too much to contain in one node. I need a better system for that. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think I would like to bring back math streams soon on this channel, as well as I have to figure out the best way to structure the book club. There's a lot to read and a lot to do.